Hello everybody, Donnie here and welcome. Here we share true stories from real people. So starting out today, we have a story. It reads, Update. I don't want to marry my fiancé anymore. I don't know what to do. Original post. I, 26 female, have been dating my current fiancé, Mark, 27, for a little over 7 years now. We are not actually engaged, but claim to be because we have dated longer than what he insisted was the dating phase to see if we could really stay together. 4 years. Anyway, for some time now, I would say about 2 years, things have been really taking a turn for the hills, especially since the beginning of this year. We both work and go to school full time, but I am the only one who does the domestic work, takes care of our dog, etc. I work, go to school, come back home, clean, cook, get his stuff ready, walk, feed, play, train our dog, the whole 9 yards. From time to time, he would help if I reminded him, asked him, or complained enough. This has only begun to get worse as time has passed. I have told him for months on end that I do not feel loved, supported, appreciated, cared for, etc. by him anymore. I try to give everything to him, but there are a lot of times where he only wants to be on his phone, watch TV, or only be half to a third present. For example, he says that he will walk our dog when he gets back from work constantly, but he hasn't for months. He says that he is exhausted and tired from work and school, while saying that he understands where my frustrations are coming from, but still does nothing to alleviate the burden. Our intimate life has become obsolete, but he has begun to watch pornography multiple times a week, even though I told him that I consider that cheating and is breaking my boundaries. He told me that he is just going through a hard time and just can't find it in him to be interested in me because it takes too much time, effort, and mental energy from him. I asked if he still found me attractive, and all he said was, yeah, I can still get off, but not like I used to anymore. Oh my gosh. I have suggested couples counseling a few months ago and even found many that can work with our schedules, but he refuses to look into them or even to try to go. He keeps saying that we just have to try harder together, actually communicate better, and compromise a lot more than what we are now. I was sitting on our bed a few days ago while he was having his escapade in the bathroom again, and I asked if I could see myself still marrying him. My automatic answer was no. No, I couldn't because I couldn't imagine continuing to live like this, but I am grieving for not having a relationship because I feel I would have wasted all these years on someone that I'm in love with, but I am not happy with anymore. I am so miserable, stressed, and exhausted. I want to escape and cry. I think you answered your own question. You don't see yourself living the way that you are, and the way I look at it is that you're wasting more of your time by being with him, so you need to get out as soon as you can. Commenter 1. Full stop referring to him as your fiancé. There is no ring and no proposal. You are his girlfriend, not his fiancé. He has no plans to actually marry you and is using you to make his life easier. Throw the whole man away. Commenter 2. I'd start taking the steps to move out and move on. A situation like this is never easy. When you've invested so much in the person, but you don't want to be married to someone like that. Commenter 3. If he prefers to jerk off to porn instead of having sex with you, sorry to say this, but then you're nothing but a live-in maid to him. You take care of everything while he does nothing. Break it off. I'm pretty sure you and your dog will be better off without him. You deserve love and respect, and that man certainly isn't giving it to you. Now for the updates. Update 1. Hello everyone. I don't know how updates on here work, but I hope I am doing this right. I'm sorry if it's not right. It has been about a week since I posted, and during that week, unfortunately, I found out that I am pregnant. My ex-boyfriend saw the test in the trash and became enraged because he thought I was hiding it from him. I wasn't. I was just in shock because we both used protection. He told me that raising a child together could have saved us if I wasn't such a selfish bitch. He then accused me of cheating because there is no way that I could get pregnant by him if I'm on birth control. I asked if he was dumb, and that is when things hit the fan. Words were said, hands were thrown, and ultimately my dog bit him, and the police were called. We both gave statements and they made him leave the apartment. I am lucky to have some friends in the police department that have checked on me every night ever since. I also have some friends who are helping me pack and move so that he can have the apartment. I am unsure of what to do with this pregnancy as I have never wanted or have interest in kids. However, I am thankful that I have friends who will support me no matter what decision that I make. I am still in shock of what had happened. I have never experienced such fear from my ex-boyfriend as I did in that moment. I don't know how or why things took such a turn for the worse, but they did. I've been thinking and wondering of how I have missed the signs and flags for possibly so long. I have even more concerns about my dog. He has never bit or even tried to bite someone in the 7 years that he's been alive, but he did my ex, which brings me even more worry, fear, and anxiety. I have concerns that the country that I live in, they may make me put him down because he is a pit bull mix, but I'm hoping with backing from some friends and the police officers of that night, the vet, etc., will help me keep him. I want to say thank you to everyone who replied. I appreciate the support, kindness, and encouragement. I know it should have been an obvious or simple answer thing to do, but that is my own personal ignorance. Thank you. Update 2. It has been about a month since I've updated. I'm not even sure if anyone even cares or remembers, but I thought I would give a final update. First, I want to address some things that have been said and mentioned since then. I'm sorry if this is long in advance. I would like to address that many, I'm supposing men, have come to ask me of which hands were thrown and why, and the possibility of me deserving it. I will say that once you get into a situation where you are verbally abused, then shoved with so much force you hit the floor and lose your breath, that too put up the best fight that you possibly can. However, I hope that you never have to feel the helplessness and the powerlessness that goes into being pinned down, punched, scratched, and more, while all you can do is barely wiggle your feet and hope for a moment that he stops so you can attempt to scream for help. Yes, there are details missing because I did not feel all details were necessary. I should not have to recount the times of shoves, slaps, punches, and verbal insults thrown at me to justify the final outcome. When you grow up with abuse, that is all you know, so it's hard to register it as abuse. My mother raised me with a very heavy hand and the idea of tough love. In most cases, she would slap, punch, shove, and emotionally and verbally abuse me, just as he did. Growing up, having a parent tell you that them hitting you hurts you more than them, and that they are doing it out of love. That is all you come to know and understand as love. With the many who privately message me about taking into consideration adoption, I ask, are you doing that with the full understanding of adoption and all the ugly or just the biased moral ego that has been instilled? Just because people pay a lot doesn't mean that they will treat a child right or well. There are many cases where adoptees are neglected, abused, etc. Adoption in itself is heavily influenced by religious manipulation, racism, homophobia, and classism. Most adoptive couples do not want open adoptions for fear of having their child stolen or taken away by the birth parents. There are also adoptive parents who turn the adoptee against the birth parents for multiple reasons. The biggest thing that I have to say, I have to destroy my whole body, mental and emotional health, just to bring someone else the joy and happiness they couldn't have in the first place. I have to carry the weight of being a birth parent that is shamed, ridiculed, and bullied by outsiders for being irresponsible, a possible addict, etc., while the adoptive parents are labeled as heroes or saviors. Plus, in looking at birth parent support/help, where is it? There is little to none for birth parents because they are forgotten for the sake of the adoptive parents/adoptee as their job is done. I implore everyone who suggests adoption as a solution to all problems when it comes to pregnancy and choices to actually look at adoption for all of its dark sides as well. Adoption is not always sunshine and roses. We cannot forget or neglect that for biases and ideals that have been given. Please stop with the savior complex. Actual update. Things have changed in the last month. I have officially moved into my own apartment. My ex and I's last apartment ended getting destroyed during Hurricane Helene, which I felt was the way of the universe telling me something positive. My dog is with me officially now. He did have to go into quarantine for about a week. They behavior checked him in a lot of situations and he did great on all of them. Fortunately, since there were reports and support for him by friends, vets, vet techs, neighbors, the police, etc., he did not have to be put down. However, he does have to wear a muzzle when out in public spaces around men. He has started to adjust to our new living situation but is doing much better. My pregnancy came and went in a way. Between my ex dealing with the courts and police, moving, situation with my dog, Hurricane Helene, mental health issues, etc., I did up miscarrying at 11 weeks and 3 days. I am thankful it went as smoothly as something like that can go, especially with what has been happening to women in the same situation. I've been trying to get my uterus taken out and my tubes tied, but since I live in such a red state area, it's been hard. They all talk about the what ifs when dealing with a future husband and his wants of children. I've been feeling discouraged and mad, but I want to keep trying. My ex has tried many times to contact me, including through my mother, who I do not speak with anymore. He has shown up to my job and asked when I am working, where I am, etc. I have only recently blocked him as I have been trying to get evidence to get a restraining order on him. I have what is needed, like threats, verbal abuse, and destruction of property, so I hope it all goes well. The police friends that I have been really helpful and still continue to check up on me. Apparently DV cases are common in my area and they don't want me to end up as they normally see women here do. I am in therapy and have been trying to keep a positive outlook. I wanted to thank everyone for their kindness, support, encouragement, and knowledge. I cannot thank you all enough. Additional information from OOP regarding adoptions. OOP, I find that interesting. Are you also looking at the stats of adopted children in cases of suicide, mental illness, addiction, discriminations, etc. because of adoption? Are you also looking at stats including transracial intercountry adoption? Of course, there is always positives to adoption, yet there are also many negatives as well that are overlooked. How many adoptees can claim to have positive outcomes or experiences yet not realize until they're older that they actually didn't? Many adoptees still grow up without feeling connected, validated, and even properly seen. You may say that life is life with a lot of families, which is terrible in itself. Now imagine feeling that as an adopted child with people who you already have an internal disconnect with. Many also don't get to tell their own stories or get to express themselves and the negative feelings that come with being adopted. There is also the road of birth parents who are often ostracized for giving up their child, who do not get help postpartum, who could never see their child again because their adoptive parents don't want them to, etc. Yes, there are positive examples such as Simone, Jimmy Butler, Aaron Judge, etc., but that doesn't mean all are. We also have to take into consideration that biased, manipulative narratives and untold stories that are never spoken to save others. I encourage you to go to Adoption Unfiltered and other works by all parties, adoptees, birth parents, and adoptive parents. We must read from all POVs, all sides, and more before saying things like adoptions are positive by looking at specific stats and people to fit our own narrative. Adoption, like many other things, is not for everyone and is not always a true solution. We cannot act like it always is. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you.